The Council of Zirin had summoned Earth's representatives to the edge of the galaxy, in a luminous chamber suspended above the swirling colors of a nebula. Among the assembly was Ambassador Talia Reid, humanity's sharpest negotiator, who had already endured decades of alien politics and near-constant threats to Earth. The most anticipated speaker, however, was the ancient seer Kelvir, whose reputation for prophecy spanned dozens of species. Kelvir's eyes glimmered like molten silver as he intoned, "If you begin the war, they will never end it." His words were both a warning and a curse. The Zirin Council demanded Earth's military cooperation to preemptively strike a coalition of hostile civilizations, claiming it was the only way to ensure human survival. But Talia hesitated. Humans were physically weaker than many galactic species, yet Kelvir's words gnawed at her conscience. Against the Council's impatience, Earth's delegation returned home, carrying the seer's warning like a heavy stone in their hearts. Months later, a small skirmish erupted on the outskirts of human-controlled space. In retaliation, humanity launched a decisive strike, showcasing advanced strategies and ferocity that no alien had anticipated. The galaxy collectively reeled. Humans were not just resilient, they were relentless. The initial strike triggered a chain reaction. Species who once viewed humanity as inconsequential now unified in vengeance. Ambushes, covert operations, and devastating wars spread across multiple star systems. Entire fleets vanished in the void. Planets burned. But humanity adapted. Every loss sparked a greater ingenuity. Shielded starships, adaptive AI commanders, and guerrilla tactics that exploited the enemy's overconfidence. Years into the conflict, Talia, now a hardened general, realized the seer's truth. Humanity had survived, but the war had become endless. Every ceasefire only birthed new enemies. Kelvir's warning echoed in her mind. They will never end it. Yet, despite the relentless cycle of battles and betrayals, humanity endured not by domination but by stubborn resilience, their ingenuity carving a reputation that spread fear and respect across the galaxy. The story closes on a lonely battlefield, with a young human pilot staring at the horizon, realizing that Earth had ignited a war that no one could finish, but also that no one could ever defeat them. In the infinite night, humanity's defiance shone brighter than any star, a testament to the species that refused to yield. HFY elements. Humans are underestimated by advanced alien civilizations. Humanity's resilience, ingenuity, and adaptability turned the tide of the war. The story emphasizes moral complexity, consequences of decisions, and ultimate human perseverance. The alien seer's prophecy adds a layer of cosmic inevitability and tension. If you like, I can also create a more action-packed cinematic version of this outline, with set-piece battles, espionage, and heroic moments for individual humans, while keeping it in one part. Do you want me to do that next? You said, Part 1, 1300 words ka lekho or interesting hona chahiye or third-person style ma lekhni ha, or simple basic English ka, or violated free hona chahiye. ChatGPT said, got it. I can write a full 1300-word Part 1 story in third-person, simple English, interesting and engaging, HFY style, and completely violence-free. Here's the story based on your title. Title: If you begin the war, they will never end it, the alien seer warned, and he was right. The hall of the Zirin Council was like nothing humans had ever seen. Light flowed like rivers along the walls, shifting in colors that made Talia Reid's eyes widen. She had traveled across half the galaxy to reach this place, representing Earth, a planet that most of the Council considered insignificant. Around her, beings of all shapes and sizes conversed in a language she could barely understand, yet she could feel the weight of the moment, the importance of the decision before her. At the center of the hall, on a platform that floated slightly above the floor, stood Kelvir, the alien seer. He was tall and slender, with translucent skin that reflected the colors of the hall. His eyes were like molten silver, deep and knowing. When he spoke, the air seemed to pause. If you begin the war, they will never end it, he said. The words were calm but carried a power that made everyone silent. Even the other council members, known for their cold logic, leaned forward. Talia felt a chill. She had read countless reports about Kelvir and his prophecies. They were almost always right. His warning was simple, yet it carried a weight she could not ignore. The council's leader, a large being named Rythal, turned to her. Earth has a choice. We face a coalition of species that may threaten all young civilizations. You must decide whether to join our preemptive strike. Delay and the risk grows. Talia took a deep breath. The galaxy had seen war many times, and humans had mostly stayed on the sidelines. But this was different. Humans had the technology to survive, yes, but they were not the strongest species. Their strength had always been in their creativity, their courage, and their ability to work together. She remembered Calvir's warning. The Council wanted action. They wanted a strike that could prevent a threat, but what if he was right? What if once they began, the war would never stop? Talia raised her hand. We need time, she said. Her voice was steady, though her heart raced. Time to understand our role. To find a way that does not start a cycle we cannot end. Rythal's eyes narrowed, but he nodded slightly. Time is a luxury, but you have it, for now. Earth's delegation returned home in quiet reflection. The journey through space had given them time to think, but also to prepare. Talia walked along the corridors of the ship, looking at the stars beyond the windows. She knew that humans had a reputation for being unpredictable. In every corner of the galaxy, stories told of human resilience, ingenuity, and their unyielding spirit. Yet she wondered if the galaxy would respect that spirit or fear it. The first challenge came sooner than anyone expected. At the edge of known space, a group of alien scouts had accidentally entered Earth's newly established research zone. They meant no harm, but the scouts were frightened, and humans responded cautiously. Talia oversaw the communications. We need to understand them first, she said, not respond with force. Through patient dialogue, the misunderstanding was resolved. Humans used their unique skills, language, empathy, and creativity, to communicate and clarify intentions. The aliens left, curious but unharmed. Word of this reached the Xeran Council and even Calvir. He sent a message that arrived like a whisper in Talia's mind. You chose wisely. The first step is restraint. As months passed, Earth scientists and diplomats worked together. Humans were quick learners, adapting to alien technology, understanding complex systems and finding solutions where others saw only obstacles. Then came the first test. A vast, uncharted sector of space showed unusual activity. Several species had gathered resources there, and tensions were rising. Some council members pushed for intervention. Talia convened a team of experts, human and alien alike. They studied the region, tracing signals, mapping trajectories, and observing patterns. This is not a threat yet, Talia said during one meeting. But it could become one if we act without understanding. We need a solution that prevents conflict, not starts it. Her team devised a plan. They built communication beacons and observation satellites, establishing a network that allowed all species in the region to share information and intentions. They organized forums, where representatives could discuss concerns and negotiate agreements. It was slow work, frustrating for those who wanted immediate action, but Talia persisted. Every negotiation, every small breakthrough became a building block of peace. And every time she thought of Calvir's warning, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. One day, a fleet of alien explorers approached Earth's orbit, unsure if they would face resistance. Instead, they were greeted by humans who offered friendship and cooperation. The aliens were amazed. Humans had not only avoided conflict, they had created a system where all parties felt heard and safe. The Xeran Council took notice. Earth's approach is remarkable, Rythal admitted in a communication. You are not strong in the traditional sense, but your influence grows. Talia smiled quietly. Humans were never the strongest in physical power. But they had something even greater: adaptability, compassion, and the ability to turn potential enemies into allies. Months later, Calvir visited Earth. He walked among humans, observing their cities, schools, and research centers. He saw children learning both Earth's history and the stars above. He saw leaders, not just warriors, shaping decisions with wisdom. You have chosen a path few would dare, he said, his voice gentle. One that honors life and growth rather than destruction. You may still face challenges, but you have proven the value of restraint and cooperation. Talia looked up at him. We cannot stop all wars, she said. But we can. That has to count for something. Calvir nodded. It counts for everything. One day the galaxy will remember humans not as the species that followed orders or reacted in fear, but as those who changed the way the universe resolves conflict. You may still face enemies, but they will face something unexpected. And so humanity's reputation grew, not through weapons or dominance, but through courage, creativity, and empathy. When others rushed to war, humans paused, thought, and found a better way. And in that pause, they discovered strength greater than any fleet or we.